A quiet thread through the universe. You are floating, not falling, not flying, just resting in the vastness of everything. There is no sound here, no wind, no ticking of clocks, just the wide, endless silence between stars. It feels like nothing, and yet not quite nothing, because somewhere in the space between the space, something invisible is at work, something ancient, something small, a thread you cannot see, but feel, softly tugging. Tonight, you listen to it. This thread isn't made of fiber or string. It is woven from the rules of nature itself, the laws that govern everything from galaxies to grains of dust. And this thread connects not places, but particles. Imagine two tiny specks, smaller than atoms, so small they have no size at all. You cannot see them, but they are there. Maybe in this room, maybe light years apart. They spin, they move, they flicker into being, and somehow, in some quiet way, they are bound. This bond is called quantum entanglement, and it is one of the strangest, most beautiful things we know. You may picture it like this: a pair of dancers born together on a silent stage. They never speak, never touch again, but no matter how far they drift, each one still knows the other's step. If one twirls, the other does too. If one bows, the other rises, as if choreographed by invisible music. Instantly, no delay, no matter the distance. This defies the way the world normally works. We're used to time zones, signals, delays. If someone in Tokyo flips a switch, it doesn't instantly light a bulb in Paris. But here, with entanglement, distance doesn't matter. One moves, the other responds, as if space itself isn't what we thought. And that is where your journey begins. You are not a physicist tonight. You are a quiet traveler, listening in the dark, letting the universe tell its story. This story began long ago, not just in a lab, but in the fabric of reality itself. Long before we had words or numbers, particles were already pairing, already whispering. Some were born in the hearts of stars, some in the echoes of the Big Bang. Some may even exist now, inside your very body, entangled, connected. No wires, no waves, just together. As you breathe in, feel the softness of that idea, that something can be far and near at once, that the smallest pieces of matter can know each other better than we know ourselves. And they do this not with eyes or language, but with state. That is, what one is, the other instantly knows. Like a pair of gloves. If you find the left, you know the other is right. But this is deeper than gloves. These particles don't have a state until we look. It's as if the gloves are both left and right until you peek inside the box. And the moment you do, the other glove, far away, becomes the opposite. This is the puzzle that once troubled the great Albert Einstein. He didn't like it. He called it spooky action at a distance. But it wasn't a ghost story. It was something even stranger. A new kind of truth. One that says, perhaps, that the universe is more connected than separate. You, lying here now, breathing slowly, quietly, are a part of this truth. Because your body, too, is made of particles. Billions of them. And some of those may have been paired once, entangled in fire, in light, in the press of creation. They may still carry echoes of those invisible threads. And maybe, just maybe, this quiet thread still runs through you. You can't hear it, but you can sense it. In the stillness, in the way night feels like more than sleep, in the way your heart sometimes knows things before your thoughts do. That is where entanglement lives. Not just in labs, but in the mystery between logic and love. As you rest deeper into this idea, let your thoughts slow. Let questions become dreams. There will be time to explore the how and the why. For now, you only need to know. There is a thread. It is real. It is silent. And it may bind not only particles, but all things, across time, across distance. Chapter 2: The Dance of Tiny Partners. You're still floating, still breathing slowly, as if your body is resting on a tide too deep to see. The stars are soft tonight, They blink like sleepy eyes across the sky of your mind. And somewhere beyond that sky, or maybe within it, two particles begin to move. They do not walk or fly or spin in ways you've ever seen before, but they dance. They dance in silence. And this is no ordinary rhythm. Imagine two fireflies, born in the same blink of light, suddenly flying in opposite directions. They move far apart, miles, even galaxies away, but whenever one glows, the other flashes too. Not a second later, not with delay, instantly. It's as if they never left each other, as if space, the space between them, doesn't really count. These are entangled particles, not just partners, but reflections. One acts, the other reacts, not with sound or signal, but through a shared state so deep it bends the rules of distance. Their connection isn't through cables or waves. It is more intimate than touch. It is as if both are still one being, stretched across space but not apart. You may wonder, how does this work? And even the greatest minds whisper, we're still learning. But we can watch. We can listen to the language of this strange duet. Close your eyes and imagine a tiny coin spinning in the dark. It isn't heads, it isn't tails. It is both, until you look. Then suddenly it becomes one or the other. Entangled particles are like two coins, far apart. When you spin one and peek, it lands, let's say on heads. And without touching, without checking, the other lands on tails. Every time. It is not that one sends a signal, it is that they are somehow still linked by the very question we asked. This dance was not choreographed recently. It started the moment the particles were born, in a flash of energy, in a lab or in a star. They were created together, and that togetherness never faded. You might wonder, if no message travels and if space doesn't seem to matter, then where is the line between here and there? Physicists have asked that too, and in their quiet rooms filled with lasers and lenses, they've tried to break this dance. They've tested it with miles between the partners. They've shielded them, rushed them apart, measured with precision unthinkable. But still, the rhythm holds. One turns, the other mirrors. One flickers, the other flashes. It's as if each partner is keeping an eye closed, trusting the other to move with grace. And only when we look, when we interrupt with our instruments and our questions, do they reveal the step. You may find this strange, but nature often is. She does not always walk in straight lines. Sometimes she dances in circles, in spirals, in echoes that span the cosmos. And tonight you are invited to watch, not with your eyes, but with your awareness. Let your imagination become the microscope. Let wonder be the light. The particles do not know you're here, but in a way they have always been waiting. As you follow their silent performance, you feel a rhythm not just in them, but in yourself. Your breath has a partner in your heartbeat. Your thoughts ripple through your body in patterns you rarely notice. Could your own cells be dancing too, responding to things far away, to memories, to people you've never met, to stars you've never seen? The dance of entanglement is not just out there, it is within. Inside every atom of your being are particles, and inside them, perhaps, echoes of partnerships long forgotten. From stars that exploded before Earth was even born. And those bonds, if they remain, may still hum quietly inside you. No louder than a whisper, but just enough to know you are not alone in the dark. You may sleep here if you like. You may let the dancers spin and twirl and curve through space without ever stepping off the beat. When we wake, we will ask, how can something so small be so deeply connected? Why does the universe allow such quiet harmony between such distant things? And what does it mean for us, for time, for the meaning of a part? But not yet. Tonight is not for answers. Tonight is for the dance. Let it continue in your dreams. Let the partners spin far across the stars. And know, somewhere in the deep fabric of space, something is still moving in step with something else. It may be light years away. It may be just beneath your skin. Either way, they are not dancing alone, and neither are you. Chapter 3. A lab in the dark. A light that flickers somewhere. Not far from now, A small room hums with quiet machines. The lights are low. The air feels still, like the pause between two breaths. You are not there physically, but tonight, your imagination is a visitor. In this room, this softly glowing lab, a beam of light flickers. Not a flashlight, not a lamp. This light is finer than any thread you've seen. It is a pulse of laser light, pure and narrow, shaped like a whisper moving through glass. The scientists here don't rush. They move slowly, gently, like caretakers tending to something sacred and fragile. And what they are tending is entanglement. You settle into the stillness, feeling your own breath match the quiet rhythm of the place. Your mind floats above the table, watching, not interfering, curious but calm. Here the light is split. One beam becomes two. And in the split, a kind of magic. No, not magic. A symmetry is born. Particles of light, photons, are paired. They share a birth, a moment. And because of this, they become entangled. Two sparks, no larger than a dream, now drift away in opposite directions. But remember, distance means less in this dance. They are still bound, still twinned by a hidden rule that doesn't care for miles. A lens shifts, a mirror tilts. The lab adjusts itself, not with force, but with precision. This is what science looks like when it listens. When it doesn't demand or poke or shake, but waits patiently for the smallest signals to speak. And tonight, in this calm, the photons speak. One is measured. Its polarization, the angle of its light, is gently checked, and far away its partner answers, instantly, not because it hears, not because it decides, but because, in some quiet way, they are still one thing. This moment is called a Bell test, an experiment first imagined by John Bell, who asked, can the universe really be this strange? Could particles truly stay connected without sending messages? Or was something hidden at work? A secret clock, a buried script? Bell gave us the tools to ask, and the lab, this dim, humming space you drift through now, is one of many that tried. Again and again, they tested, across cities, across deserts, even across islands. And every time the answer whispered back, yes, the entanglement is real. The connection is deeper than classical logic. It doesn't hide a trick. It reveals a truth. And what truth is that? That perhaps the world is not made of separate parts. That what we see as things may be ripples in a shared field. That the act of observing changes what is. Not out of mystery, but because the universe is more like a poem than a puzzle. Tonight, you are part of that poem. Not solving it, not decoding it, but floating in its rhythm. The lab continues its gentle work. Photons flicker. Detectors click softly, like distant raindrops on a roof. Each click tells a story, a change, a match, a response that was never spoken. You may feel at this moment a strange closeness with all things. The chair beneath you, the moonlight outside, the person you once missed, the sound you thought you heard just before sleep. Could some part of you be entangled with something else? Could your presence ripple through the fabric of reality, invisible but true? Perhaps, or perhaps not in the way science can yet describe. But what the lab teaches is this, that connection runs deeper than we thought, that what is here and what is there may not be so different. The universe has no edges, only relationships, only patterns, only dances that begin in one place and end in another, without ever truly stopping. Let that thought cradle you now, like the soft curve of a lullaby. Let it settle behind your eyelids, warm and wide. Entanglement is not just a theory in a textbook. It is something we've seen, measured, gently coaxed into revealing its nature. And every time we do, it tells us a little more about who we are and what it means to be. You lie still now, in your room, in your skin, in your own field of being. But light, real light, is flickering across labs and skies and cells. And some of it was born as a pair. Tomorrow we'll ask, how far can this connection go? Can it carry messages or memories or meaning? But for tonight, you rest in the presence of a truth gently tested, in a lab where light flickers like a heartbeat, and everything it touches feels a little less alone.